My food for thought today came from a conference that I've just come off of online. It's a lesson I learned today, and that is you can be asked the same question by different people and have different answers to that very same question. Does that mean any of those answers will be false answers, wrong answers, or lies? No. You can answer you can give 4 different answers to the same question asked by 4 different people, and all 4 answers will be correct. Why would you be giving different answers to the same question? Easy. That's because the context of your answer would depend on the context of the question being asked. What do I mean? The motive behind somebody asking you a question determines what answer you give and how you give it. The perspectives that one is coming from when they ask you the same question will decide how you answer it. And that would not mean it's a lie either. Some people will ask you a question genuinely wanting to know, so you give them an answer that helps them genuinely understand. Some people will ask you the very same question with the motive of justifying their view of you or their treatment of you. So your answer would then have to suit that motive. If someone is asking you a question so that they can justify mistreating you, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta defend yourself. And at times you gotta put that person in their place, which is what makes that answer different from the first one who genuinely wanted to know. Also, some people will ask you the very same question so that they can seem to be interested, or because they know they are expected to ask the question in order to seem like they are interested. Now, the way I would answer that question would be either to brush them off, because I can't be bothered dealing with people like that, which means the answer will be totally different from the first two. Or the answer might just be an indirect way of letting them know that you know that they don't genuinely want to know. And so you don't waste your time elaborately explaining. People like that, sometimes they only need a one-word answer, and they will know that you are onto them. You are onto their motive. And if somebody is actually asking you a question so that they can find ways of manipulating you, or they can find ways of justifying their manipulation, sometimes the answer would just have to be point blank honest and tell them, I actually don't have to answer your question, and that's my answer. Or my answer could be, I will answer your question when you genuinely want to know. Or my answer could be, I don't want to be rude, so I will not answer your question. If they are intelligent, if they are clever, they will know that you are telling them that you know that they are only asking you that question because they have an ulterior motive that is not constructive to you. Needless to say, you don't always have to answer questions. If you are not sure of the answer, you can ask for time to think about it, and that's an answer. Or If you're not sure how safe you are answering the question you're being asked, you can excuse yourself from answering the question. And one clever way actually of avoiding answering stupid questions is by asking one of yourself. That is still an answer. An answer really is a response to a question. So how you respond to a question is a choice. It's a matter of choice. In a nutshell, that's what I'm saying. It's a matter of choice. I'll give you an example. This was a migrant-based discussion. And so one person asked this question: how do you sleep each night knowing that you're not wanted here? And the first person was actually one of those people that do not want me here. And so my answer was, how do you sleep when you know you don't want somebody to be somewhere without reasonable reason? And the other one asked the same question, but because they actually really wanted to know, because they had just realized how hard it must be. So I did explain. When you are pushed into a corner, all you have to do is fight to come out of that corner. And really, if you give up, you might as well give up on life. But if you fight, you stand a chance of winning the fight. And then there was a third person who asked me the very same question, for the simple reason that this person had to write a report at the end of the conference. They were not particularly interested, really, but they have to write a report that will actually have a great deal of impact on the outcomes of that whole conference. That person actually went into elaborate answer to the question, elaborate reasoning to the answer that I was giving. I went into detail on how I sleep, knowing I'm in a place where I'm not wanted, and why I do it, and what I hope to achieve from it. Now that was a broad answer. And the good thing about it is all these people that asked the same question and got different answers, they were also on the same platform, and their ears were not closed to the answers that I was giving. So in a roundabout way, they all got to understand what they needed to understand, whether they liked it or not, and they are left with the choice to either take it on board or to ignore it or to pretend they didn't get it. But overall, I'm glad because I had the platform to speak. I spoke. I had the platform to educate people about some harsh realities of life, and I did. And I had an opportunity to offload, and I did. So on the whole, it was a good conference. And actually the responses to the rest of the crew there was positive. A lot of them had no idea what was going on, and they learned on that platform. A lot of them had a little idea, but they went home with more insight. A few of them were ticking boxes. They were there because they were expected to be there, but I'm quite sure they picked a thing or two in the process, whether they liked it or not, and it's up to them to take it on board or to ignore it. So yeah, you don't always have to give the same answer to the same question when it's asked by different people. You have to consider the context in which the question is being asked.